Hello! Hello. Let's see if we can shed a little more light. That doesn't really help. That's okay.
Nope, you turned it off.
I turned it off. That's fine. Hello, and welcome back to GNN Gaming, right here on GNN Gaming. It's good to see everybody. Thank you for coming on to our stream, for following Geek News Now, and for following our crazy antics. I'm Retro.
WolfAngel.
Hi. For those of you who may be new, watching us, or coming to us for the first time, we are doing a new segment now on this channel called Miniature Painting, and where we paint miniatures. Yeah. Imagine that.
Who would have guessed?
Yeah, who would have guessed? Welcome to Miniature Painting, where we're going to torture squirrels.
No.
Awesome. So, before we get going, first off, I want to say, if you aren't familiar with Geek News Now, you should head on over to geeknewsnow.net. Check out all the amazing content and articles happening over there. Live breaking news, active coverage. A couple quick things to mention. Something new that we're going to be doing, we're focusing on this year, is there are a ton of anniversaries happening this year. I know WolfAngel's been putting together this massive list for us. And starting on Thursday, we will be celebrating the 40th anniversary of Miss Pac-Man. And we're going to try to do some kind of Pac-Man themed stream. With that, I'm going to see if I can rig us up to actually play Miss Pac-Man.
There's also several other Pac-Man games that are having anniversaries this year, too. So this isn't the one and only time we're going to play Pac-Man.
No. And there's a lot of great games that are celebrating anniversaries this year. And a lot of them are games that we have.
Like Tron.
Classics. A lot of classics celebrating 40th anniversaries and so on. And the other big thing, this Saturday, we are going to be at the Central Florida Comic-Con, which is very, very exciting. We got to go back in last summer. It was the first convention you and I did together with GNN. We got to go with press passes, and so there's going to be a lot of awesome pictures and coverage from that going up on the Geek News Now page on Facebook. Very excited to go back, and we had a lot of fun at the last one. We got to meet some cool people, and there's a lot of cool celebrities that I'm hoping we'll get some time to talk to. But let's paint. You ready to paint? You want to paint? Do you have anything else you want to
add? I don't think so. I keep getting distracted because all I see is Spock Bear, judging us in the background. Oh, now she's on the judging. The dragon.
There's no win. Your stuffed animals are judging us any way this goes. So let's...
I can't help it.
Alright, so now none of them can see. I'm gonna paint with my toes while I keep my arms out like this for the next 3 hours. Okay.
I don't think you're gonna be able to do that.
No, let's take our mind off of the judgmental stuffed animals and go to the close-up. Alright, close-up. Let's move that out of the way. Okay, let's get some more light going here. All right, so Wolf, what are you painting today?
So I have two of them. I guess I'm gonna try to do my dire wolf first. So we've done the base coat, so that's why he's all black right now. So I'll be doing that one first, and then I also have a giant scorpion that I'm gonna be putting my own twist on. Okay.
And I will be doing a chest mimic, which is a true, miniature, very, very small. So that's going to be really get the detail brushes out for that. And
yeah,
I will...
for comparison.
Size comparison there.
Versus, what we did
this was last week's, was our adult green dragon. All of these now every model that we're doing, we're 3D printed on our 3D printers, our resin 3D printers. You got the lazy Susan here showing us, our dragon, that I'm super happy with how he looks. And, the other thing I want to add is, all of the paint that we're using tonight is craft paint, basically 50-cent apple barrel paint or some basic craft paint like that. And then the gloss that you see on this was a Mod Podge glossy spray coat, and that's just one coat that's on there, and it coats very evenly, very beautifully. Just make sure that you wait until it is dry, because it does get tacky as part of the dry process, but once it's dry, it's fine. But I've learned, because this is craft paint and water soluble, that if you spray it and then touch it before it's ready, the paint will come off. It'll actually make this, but once this hardens, it makes a very good scratch resistant, very tough coating to put on it. And the can was like all of $4. So welcome to painting on a budget. Can we place him off to the side there? All right, and the other model that I'm doing, so I'm doing our Mimic, and then by popular request of some of our friends, I'm doing a Beholder. Now this isn't just any Beholder, this is the Xanathar. For those of you who are really into D&D.
Like the
Xanathar, yes. This is, for those of you who are really into D&D, there's a book called Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Xanathar is a Beholder, and I'll go into more about him later as I paint him. But he's going to be fun. This is the last Beholder that I did. So this one, the models that you can see, there's a little bit of a difference in the model. The eye is a little different. The eye stalks on the tentacles are a little different. The mouth is different. And he's going to be painted a completely different color scheme than this one is. The eye's different. So it's going to look really, really cool.
I cannot help it.
Yep. And Wolf actually has Xanathar's Guide to Everything. And there he is, there in the background. So we'll talk more about Xanathar later. I didn't actually know you had a copy of that. That's awesome. Because I have a digital. All of my copies of the books are digital.
My only hard copies is this one and the Player's Handbook.
Yeah, that's all you need. Who needs a Dungeon Master's Guide, right? Like, come on. All right.
I mean, the Player's Handbook flat out says that the Dungeon Master can decide to keep or get rid of any rules that are in any of the books.
Correct.
So yeah, you don't really need a Dungeon Master's
You don't.
Guide.
You don't. All right, so let's start painting. Debating, I'm thinking about starting with the Mimic.
I'm gonna start with this one, and it's so tiny.
He's gonna get his brown.
Alright. So
I'm using Nutmeg Brown by Apple Barrel for the brown of the chest. And,
Stop. I have the Country Gray.
she's using, starting with the Country Gray.
And the Cobalt.
Yes, the Cobalt Blue.
Hue. It says
Cobalt Hue, excuse me. Cobalt Hue.
Cobalt Hue.
Hue.
Hue. It almost sounds like you're trying to go the ooh woo.
No, do not start the whole ooh woo thing, okay?
Too late.
Shut up. You will get paint in your hair. Don't even start with the whole ooh woo thing.
It's already been started.
Shut up. You're my best friend, but shut up.
Well, and then I also do have a reference picture that I'm using for the direwolf, and it's actually from an anime that I've watched.
Awesome.
So
Well, that's the fun thing about homebrews. You can draw your inspirations from wherever you want, you know?
yeah.
And I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh, homebrew. It just means it's, whatever rules you want. I'm the dungeon master, so yes. I love homebrew.
You don't like it? There's another table or there's the door.
Yeah, there is nothing in this world that says you have to sit at my table and play my game.
Yeah.
I am the dungeon master. I am the all-knowing, merciless god of your universe. Do not tell me what my adventure can or can't contain. I'm not actually like that. I mean, I kind of am, but I'm not that much of a stickler.
As long as you are not purposefully trying to get your party killed, and you're not outright being a jerk to everybody,
Right.
then I don't.
The only rules I follow very strictly are spells. Like, I am more strict with the application of spells than I am anything else, because somebody has already gone through the effort to make very clear, defined rules for spells, and I like them. Now, that doesn't mean that players can't use spells in very creative ways.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with logic, what I deem to be physics in this in the world that we're in, and you know, and kind of the rule of cool, where, you know, if you can justify to me, if you can make a legit justification of why something works, I'll consider it. It's kind of my deal. But I'm pretty strict when it comes to, you know, if a spell says XYZ and does this much damage, I'll be kind of a rules lawyer about spells. But generally speaking, I'm not really a rules lawyer, and I don't put up with rules lawyers very well. I have a hard time with, like, on page 287 of the player's handbook, it says you can't do that, and that's just a violation of the rules in Tasha's Guide to... Yeah, no, I don't care. My adventure, my world.
And also for me, like, when it comes to spells, it's one where if someone... Or, like, if it's something that specifically says you can only use it one time per long rest, and someone's trying to use it multiple times...
Yeah. There's usually, if that's there, it's for a very good reason. You know? But by the same token, as a dungeon master, I am as rigid with the spells my monsters use. Mm-hmm. You know, if I'm putting my party up against the Lich, if I'm putting my party up against whatever, I'm pretty rigid in the application of their spells too, what they can do, its range, its damage. I don't fudge dice rolls, because I feel like if you have to fudge dice rolls, why bother rolling the dice? Yeah. Is my thing. And I remember meeting somebody in, like, an online chat, Twitter or Discord or something, talking about D&D. They don't use hit points, and they don't use armor class. They play it as, how much damage do you think it would realistically do? Do you think that would realistically hit somebody? And that's so subjective that it's like, well, every board game has to have rules. Every game has rules. And the rules are there not to be... You know, the rules exist so that there is an order to things. Yeah. There's a logic to things.
It's not to, like, hinder everybody.
Right.
It's not to make it one-sided. Then if you've got... Or Dungeon Master, monsters, they're all following rules, then it makes sense that the players should follow the same rules, and vice versa.
Correct. I completely agree with that. So I'm letting this brown base coat kind of dry a little bit before I put the second on. I like this brown, this nutmeg brown, but it's such a light brown that when it first goes on, whatever base coat you have underneath really shows through. And I know people will be like, well, why don't you leave the base coat white or gray? Because that shows through too. It doesn't matter. It's a thin color. Mm. So if you're doing two coats anyway, I'd rather leave the black and let some of the depth, like inside of the lid here, in the upper part of the lid, I'm probably not going to paint that. I'm probably going to leave that black. That way I can focus on the teeth around here and the tongue, and it's going to make that pop and stand out more. I'm going to try not to distract WolfAngel over here too much. She's doing some very fine detail work on the wolf. Is that a chest mimic? Yes, it is a chest mimic, Cam. Hey, Cam. Hey, brother. Yes, it is a chest mimic.
And we may or may not name it Chesty. Oh, which, by the way, we still have to name our dragon.
That's true. We did not name our dragon. While Chesty here dries, I'm going to grab the dragon over here. Here, once again, is the dragon from last week. This was 3.5 hours combined work for us. and I actually put the gloss coat on him a few hours ago. Chesticles is the Greek pronunciation. So we need a name. We need a name for our green dragon. And Cam, since you're first one in the chat tonight, why don't you
throw out a recommendation?
Throw out a recommendation for some names for our adult green dragon. Thank you, Cam. Yeah, we're super happy with how he turned out. I know there's a lot of varied opinions about Critical Role, and I know I'm way more into Critical Role than I think you are. But I remember seeing a thing where they toured the studio of Critical Role, and they have a room that is floor to ceiling, like these plastic drawers like you have over here, floor to ceiling around the entire room, and it's environments and scenery and miniatures and stuff, and they build their own sets themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like Matt Mercer talked about, he was like, in between takes or, on breaks and stuff, we can come back here and we can rearrange something if the players do something cool, or if we feel like we need to add something to make the story move, on the break whenever we go to the next, before we go to the next thing, like we can run back here and we can, throw together whatever we need. And I was like, I would love to have a room like that. Just has
filled with miniatures.
Filled with miniatures that you've made and you've painted and you've put the love into. Thraxel. I like
we
Thraxel.
Had one other. Do you know where the little sticky notepad went?
Not offhand.
It was over
Who
there.
knows where it went with me shuffling things around it.
Because we had one other recommendation.
I like Thraxel. That's a good name. And he's named by the fans.
Yep.
So, working name right now, Thraxel. I like it. I think I'm going to do just the 2 coats of the brown.
Okay.
And let some of the black show through, kind of like with the Beholder. And for like the wood, because I'm going to be going over like the metal fixtures on here with the bronze and the gold, so that way like kind of the texture of the brown comes through on the wood. We'll see how that looks. I get a lot of ideas and I have no idea most of the time if they're going to work until I actually try them. Hey, Vader!
How are you doing tonight? This evening? This day? However you want to call it.
How are you coming over there on your wolf?
Slowly.
Slowly. That's okay. By no means is this a race.
My competitive nature says otherwise.
Well, your wolf is significantly larger than my chest mimic that Cam has named Chesticles after the Greek pronunciation, or Chesty in the Latin. And I've just painted him brown, so.
I kind of found out that my really defined. Sorry, I found that my really defined one, the brush is kind of messed up, so it doesn't let me be very defined. Don't die.
Chesticles. You're right. Chesticles would be the Greek. Chesticles. I like Chesticles. Excuse me. Wrong pipe.
He fell.
Well.
We also need to name him.
Yes. While Chesticles dries, I will introduce another green dragon that we have. I picked this guy up. Excuse me. Wow. Went down the wrong pipe. I picked this guy up at Gen Con in Indianapolis close to 10 years ago. So he is a like a rubberized silicone. He's green and has like glitter into the silicone with him, and he's posable, which is cool. And we have him wrapped around our mic stand here.
He is our forever supervisor.
Yep, he is the forever supervisor of the stream. But he does not have a name.
My forever supervisor is staring at Pikachu right now. He's not watching us. So, my supervisor is failing his job right now.
So I'm gonna turn the camera so you can kind of see. So he's wrapped around our mic stand over here.
Probably could have moved the mic stand with the camera.
Yeah, kind of. I'm not gonna die, I promise. So that brown looks weathered, but it looks good. I'm gonna go for the. I'm gonna do the fixtures last. I'm gonna hit the tongue, and I'm going to use initially some bright apple barrel bright red.
Oh, and then because I can actually go ahead and say this, for those of you that are interested in D&D and also seeing our miniatures in action, we are going to have our next D&D charity stream. It will be February 25th.
Yep.
And we will be supporting the American Heart Association. So if you guys are enjoying watching us do the painting, you can also come and see which ones and if any of these are going to be used in that stream.
Yeah. This Valentine's Day, have a heart and donate to the American Heart Association on our stream.
He really likes to say that.
I do. I like using my announcer voice. Your dog, Orion, is sitting here just licking my feet. I've just given up and accepted it, but it has been very hard to ignore while I'm talking. There's no sense in trying to stop him. He's just gonna keep doing it.
Especially since he's under the desk at your feet.
Yeah. Love you too, baby boy.
He's like, it just means I like you. And just like how I tell him all the time when I'm trying to overly show my love, I'm like, accept my love. So right now he's going, you can't escape my love, so here. You cannot escape, so I shall lick you.
Somebody had painting this mimic reminds me, somebody had an idea, if you were running a modern D&D campaign, present day world kind of a thing, that an idea for a mimic would be an Amazon box on somebody's porch, and every time it eats somebody, it becomes a bigger Amazon box. And so, it was created to get rid of porch pirates. And I kind of love that concept. And you could even time reverse that back to a Middle Ages setting of, every time it always looks like it's overflowing with gold and treasure, and every time that every time it eats somebody, it gets a little bit bigger, becomes a little more tempting to your adventurers.
I'm also kind of going, now that because the mimic, I've already gotten Retro to do the mimic for a campaign that I'm going to run, but he doesn't know which campaign.
No, and I'm in 2 different campaigns involving her, so I have no idea which scenario this is going to end up in, or I don't know the story of either. She's done a very good job of keeping me in the dark with that.
That's what I'm supposed to do. It's kind of the beauty of him knowing that I'm going to DM 2 different campaigns, that then I can just be like, hey, I need this monster, this monster, this monster, and he has no idea which one it goes to.
And all I'm doing is just printing and painting and printing and painting.
I'm helping to paint too.
You are helping to paint. And I'm adding some pink polish to the red to accentuate the tongue. More texture-ish color.
I loved how earlier today, for multiple people, I had to explain what GNN, Geek News Now, is. As well as I had some people like, what is live stream media? Like, what does that mean? And one person was like, wait, it has to do with computers, right?
So let's break it down word by word.
Because I can't just say, like, oh, on Twitch. Like, then I have to actually explain. Well, it's online. Like, pretty much take it back at ground zero and not just...
Glad you like the music there, Cam. All of the music in tonight's program is from our friend over at Facilian Studios. GNN has a partnership with Facilian Studios to use their music, royalty-free, but I definitely want to give credit. I created a playlist of all the Celtic music that he has for download. So, and then it's going to loop, which is awesome. I'm going to double check and make sure I set that to loop.
So that
Pretty sure I
doesn't
set
just,
that
like,
to loop. Just suddenly
randomly
stop. Yeah, it's set to loop. Good. So, be sure to go check his stuff out. I've used his own stuff. He has some amazing soundtrack music. He's got some amazing, just like background and video editing stuff, music. All of his stuff is fantastic, made by him. Facilian Studios. I'm gonna type it into the chat. So, make sure I spell it right, because the name's a little unusual.
Sounds a little unusual.
So I'm gonna type it into the chat. Give me 1 sec here.
Oh yeah, so Cam, we had an idea.
We did?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, remind me the idea.
Well, because I know you mentioned earlier of how, like, I've been doing a lot with the anniversaries that are coming up this year. And so Retro and I had kind of talked that we could help Cam with some of the video games for some of his videos of the Cam in Focus. You can't tell, but Retro like nodding his head.
Yes, I am. Actually, what would be funny is if we sent him video of us playing the game, and then he riffed on the game. That would be hilarious. Because then it's Cam in Focus riffing on gameplay by GNN Gaming on Twitch. That's amusing to me, that idea. But, you know, I'm easily amused.
And I'm also kind of going off of, since we're doing a lot of anniversary ones, and we're doing Miss Pac-Man, and then there's some other Pac-Man games later this year, that then it's really where we can be sending him the clips and be like, alright, from this Pac-Man game to this Pac-Man to this Pac-Man.
Ooh, I could run with that. I like it. Orion, that tickles. You're between my toes.
Right,
Stop it.
See, this is another reason why I always wear socks. You can't lick my feet if I'm wearing socks.
I would overheat, though. If I'm a space heater, I'd overheat. Alright, so I'm gonna, while the tongue is drying on the Mimic, I'm gonna switch over to the Craft Smart metallic copper color. Or it's labeled as espresso. It's copper.
Not cappuccino.
Not cappuccino.
Espresso.
Espresso. Get my detail brush. Now, if you're putting this on top of a similar color, it covers really, really well. So since the brown and the espresso are in the same color family, when I add this on to the, let's see if I can do this kind of on here. When I add this on, you get a really beautiful coverage because the metallic colors are thinner anyway, but you get a really nice coverage as long as you put it on a similar color. And this is the metallic, one of the 3 metallic colors I use for armor, for treasure, for weapons. I have this, which comes out as a copper color, and I have gold made by a different brand, and then I have a silver that I use as well. See if I can get that to focus on that. So are mimics intelligent creatures? Or are they reactionary? What do you think? Do they possess an intelligence, or are they just reactionary?
I know that you had kind of told me a little bit about the lore. That they're all, like, extremely paranoid, which...
No, it's beholders.
Oh, beholders, sorry.
Yeah, beholders are extremely paranoid.
My brain is still focused on beholder. Because you started talking about Xanathar.
Yeah, and I'll get to him.
But with mimics, I think they have to have some sort of intelligence. Because, yes, they do some reactionary, mostly reactionary, but I would say that they do have to have some sort of intelligence in order to... Because, like, you have mimics that are chests, you have some mimics that are doors, like, they can change shapes, so I would think that, like, when mimics came into being a thing, there might not have been chests around all the time. So they had to, at some point, go, people go to that all the time, that's how I can get food. I need to change myself into that item. So I would say that there's some intelligence, but they're probably not, like,
I always
super
wondered if
overly.
they were like a possession thing created by like a sorcerer or a wizard. You know, not a necromancy, obviously, but some kind of, you know, trap, like magical trap, is how I always kind of imagine them.
That some wizard made a magical trap and then realized how entertaining it was to watch. Because inevitably you're gonna have, like, that one adventurer that's like Dory from Finding Nemo with a short-term memory that's like, oh my gosh, a mimic! Turns around, oh hey look, a treasure chest!
Basically, yes.
I'm just imagining that was, like, the test subject for mimics is somebody with extreme short-term memory.
It was a rogue. A rogue was the test subject, okay? A goblin rogue was the test subject. Because no rogue, let alone a goblin rogue, can resist shiny.
Like, ooh, shiny.
What are we painting? Hey, Chefin. I am painting what is known as a mimic, which is an inanimate object come to life with the intent to devour.
And WolfAngel is
I'm working on a dire wolf.
Working
right
on a
now.
dire wolf of her own kind of color and design scheme.
But once the dire wolf is done, I'm going to be going to a giant scorpion. And when Retro is done with the mimic, he's going to go to the Xanathar.
A beholder. So he's going to be fun to paint, but he's going to take a little while. I'm doing the chest mimic because I can get him done faster overall. That explains the combo you joined in the middle of.
But I'm actually kind of basing my dire wolf off of a dire wolf from an anime that I watched.
Now you got to say what anime.
I want to see if anybody can guess it.
Can you show them your reference image?
I can, but then it's going to have the name on it. So I was going to ask.
I don't even know the name. She just showed me the picture and was like, I'm going to base it off this. Okay.
Okay, the name of the dire wolf was Ranga.
Ranga. Don't get any on ya.
It's actually a newer anime-ish.
Define newer.
Within
Okay.
the last 5 years.
Okay.
That's why I said it's newer-ish.
Doesn't watch enough anime to know.
I think I at least got the pause done.
I need to touch up the brown on this and the tongue. Go back and repaint the base.
Ooh, since you are also getting on here, I'm just gonna put him here.
Yes, Lego Vader, if you're still on, you can as well. We need a name for the dragon. Our first...
From last week.
Yes, this is what we painted last week.
I was trying to not get him too close to other paint.
Can you
So.
scroll up and see...
Let's see. Doo-doo-doo-boo. Let's see. So we had one earlier for Thraxel. I really wish I could remember the first one that I had been given. Did you happen to put it in the drawer?
Battle at the Goblin Village. Possibly. Skorzak, the Tiefling Shredder.
I need a reference picture. My phone keeps turning off.
If you want a good fantasy sounding dragon name, add as many K's, X's, and Z's as you can. Kazaxes. Something else too, if we're taking into account the lore of adult green dragons in D&D, they are diabolical. They're like the most diabolical of all the dragons. They're extremely conniving, extremely worldly, very possessive, very manipulative.
They were also the ones that, unlike a lot of the other dragons, that if they wanted another dragon's territory, they would
take it by force or trick them out of it. Steve.
Sheffin says Steve.
Steve!
I don't know if I can fully go with naming him Steve since my cousin's name is Steven.
Depends. Do you like your cousin? You don't have to answer that on stream.
I mean, he's been good. He's been a nice cousin. He hasn't, like, shunned me or anything. But there's also, like, a pretty good age gap between us. So...
Or Dave.
No,
or DeVay.
no. DeVay.
DeVay. Too close to my name. Not Steve, but Skavexes. Going bright white on his teeth. And also, if you're in our chat tonight, be sure to keep an eye out. Our Discord link is going to be floating through the chat about every 10 minutes or so. And be sure to join our Discord, where we talk geeky stuff, we share pictures of our pets. It's a good time.
Share memes.
Lots of memes. Yeah. Dad jokes. Chat with other gamers, because there's other gamers. We cross the streams and cross Discords, and so we're kind of on each other's, and so it's more than just us on there, more than just Geek News Now that's on there. We've got friends from other channels like Renefero, who is on our one of our charity D&D streams, and Bricker Boom, who's a good friend of the channel.
And I found out today that Bricker Boom and Renefero are both sick, but they're hoping that they'll be okay for our D&D stream on Friday.
Hope so. Yes, and WolfAngel will be joining Renefero, representing GNN on Renefero's D&D stream on Friday night. What was it? 6 p.m. Eastern time, I think?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be 6 p.m. Eastern time, and it's a cyberpunk theme.
Yes, Cyberpunk 2077 inspiration, if I was kind of reading the description right. So... should never cross the streams.
Oh, my mind went bad. Bad brain. Bad brain.
Come on, out with it. Can you say it on the channel?
Probably not without offending somebody somewhere.
So it's fun, just dangerous. Got it.
Especially because I'm different.
I'm now switching over to my folk art brand metallic pure gold with superior coverage. I'm showing you guys the paints because I'm showing you, number one, I'm not using hyper expensive high-end modeling paints. Neither of us are. We're using the same paint brands and everything. And the other thing too is so that should you like the colors being used, you can find them at Walmart. I'll just say it.
Along with the brushes.
Yep. The brushes too. I'm going to dry brush on some of this gold over the bronze to just give it that a little bit of texture. It probably won't show up on camera for you guys, but it'll show up in person a little better.
Maybe with the pictures.
Yeah, when we post pictures. Hey, there's the link to our Discord. You don't see it on screen, but if you're in the actual chat,
Ghostbuster.
You'll see our link. And it's free. Discord's free. Joining it's free. One more way you get to hang out with us.
We also understand if this is the only time you want to hang out with us.
Speak for yourself. Those of you who really love us will go.
That finishes trying.
Do love some Ghostbusters. Correction, I love Ghostbusters 1 and 2. The remake, I cannot bring myself to watch. And I haven't seen Ghostbusters Afterlife yet.
Is the remake the one with the girls?
Yeah, where they remade the first movie but gender bent it for no reason at all. Yeah. And it was a complete commercial fit. And they gender bent it with 4 women who are not funny in order to be funny. And it was like, well, if we put enough of them in the same room, maybe. And it wasn't.
And they put Thor.
Yeah, and
But they had him play as, like, an idiot.
Well, they had him play the receptionist. Who was just like the stereotype New York bimbo that just didn't know. Okay, like, oh my god, that's just how it's gonna be. Doesn't really care. It's a job. Like that's the role you give to Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, I know enough about it. I can't bring myself to watch it. You can call me sexist. You can call me whatever you want. There's not a single funny person in the cast that I saw. I don't like Jenna McCarthy. I don't think she's funny. And I know I'm probably alone in that, and that's okay. I can stand alone with that.
You also have the aspect that you like the original.
Yeah, there was legitimately zero reason to do it other than... And that's the other thing that kind of ticks me off. It's like, again, I've talked about with writing, you don't change your story or add or take away something from a story unless it has a purpose. There is zero purpose to remake the first movie, which is a solid, hilarious, well-loved, well-received movie. There is zero reason to remake it with a female cast other than to try to make some kind of political statement. There's no reason to do it. And everybody saw right through it, and it was a commercial failure. I'll call it what it is.
And this is why you and Cam need to do a Cam and Focus together.
Cam and I have been saying that we're going to do a Cam and Focus together as long as Cam's been doing Cam and Focus. And we haven't got around to it. Because I'm not opinionated at all.
Clearly. Even my dog coughs in disdain.
Nobody asked you, Orion. Good boy. I don't know why we haven't, Cam. We haven't. Maybe that's what we should do Friday night. Hear me out. It was meant to be serious. It's the parallel universe that the guys accidentally sent their universe's ghosts to. If you have to try that hard, it's bad writing. When we have to come up with our own explanation as to why it exists, then it's failed. He never saw it either. I just can't do it, man. Like, I can't.
I've seen it like I've seen it twice.
I'm sorry.
The first time was because I was like, okay, yeah, I want to see, like, how it is. Now, like, you know, that they've redone it. Like, I just was curious. The second time I didn't want to see it, but I was kind of made to watch it.
We should either do... Okay, I remember watching that with you. I don't remember much about it other than how just awful it was. Cam, I remember watching it with you, but we should do either that or we should do the Dungeons & Dragons movie that's equally as bad. What is fandom but a fan's perspective based off their analysis of the thing which they are a fan? Alright, Sheffin, getting all philosophical with the fan base. No, you're not wrong. And that's the thing, is that's the beautiful thing about a fandom, is I'm not going to gatekeep anybody. Like, that's the beautiful thing about a fandom, is you're allowed to love it and interpret it and run with it. As long as people understand that not everyone else is expected to love it the same way you do.
Yeah.
Like, I am totally fine with people who love that Ghostbusters movie. I'm totally fine with people who think Jenna McCarthy is the funniest female comedian there is. No matter how wrong they may be. I'm totally fine. No, seriously though, I'm totally fine with people loving and liking whatever they like, however you like. And my whole thing is that, like, fandoms become toxic when they expect every other fan to feel the same way about it. And I know there's people who will disagree with this one, but a lot of us will say that Star Wars fans can be extremely toxic to each other. You know, especially when it comes to the later movies. However you feel about them, and it doesn't matter. If you want to start a fight, go online, make an opinion, even if you've never seen it. Make an opinion,
about
good or bad, about any Star Wars movie, and you will start a fight. It just will happen.
The one I remembered, like the fandom that I remember that would actually start fights amongst a lot of people. I was gonna say amongst girls. I'm like, no, there were a few guys that I remember that it would start a fight with too. Was when Twilight was like the biggest thing.
Oh,
you had Team Edward and Team Jacob, and it was like if you were on one and not the one that they were on, then like they would have to tell you why you were wrong and stuff. I just remember that. I was neither. I was not a Twilight fan.
Yep, not at all. Saw the first movie, refused to watch the others. Saw the first movie because I was dating a girl that wanted to see it. And we all know that's the reason you watch a movie you don't want to see. There's an expectation that follows said movie. We'll just go with future dates. We'll just leave it at that. But yeah, like I never understood it. I tried to read the first chapter of the first Twilight book, and it was written so poorly, I never picked it up again. I didn't even finish the first chapter. I don't even think I finished the first 3 pages. It was written so badly. I'm fairly certain...
I don't think Sheffrin's happy I brought up Twilight. It's like...
Let's see. There's a reason Harry Potter is getting a 20th anniversary thing, and Twilight isn't.
Yeah. Also, I think it's because Twilight didn't finish until 10 years ago.
Okay, I still do not expect to see a 20-year Twilight reunion, especially considering nobody hates Twilight more than its own cast. Like, you ever seen Robert Pattinson interviews? He will not discuss Twilight. He hates Twilight. He was contractually obligated to go into it and to finish it if he wanted his money. But nobody, like, it's pretty much widely accepted, nobody hates Twilight more than Robert Pattinson. Tells you kind of everything you need to know about it, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Just trying to cram in the finer details on this mimic now.
Don't mind me.
How are you doing over there on your wolf?
I'm painting its butt right now. That's why I said don't mind me. But good otherwise. I just have to get a little personal with it is all.
Well, I will let you look at that, since this is for your adventure, and tell me what you think. I'll set this on your plate, and you can look at Chesticles.
Okay,
Harry Potter is just gender neutral. first controversial opinion of the night has been thrown. Let's see if it sparks a fight.
I like Harry Potter.
We are Potterheads, I will say that. My Harry Potter robe is, I think, in the other room. Alright, we are about 1 hour in of our painting stream this evening. Wow, it feels like that fan isn't even on, doesn't it? Whew.
For you, maybe.
Are you cold?
No.
I am burning up.
I'm comfortable.
Means I'm on fire. Okay? I am...
I'm cold-blooded, so...
Me being in the same room as her raises the temperature a few degrees. And no, it's not because of how hot I am. It's because of how hot I am. Well, while Chesticles dries over there and she gets back to me on how she feels.
It is Chesticles if it's attacking. It's Chesty if it's being nice and selling things that it's eaten. Okay,
that's fair. That's a clever take on it. He sells his wares. And yes, we did like the joke, Chefin. Alright, well, I guess I'm going to move on to Xanathar. The Xanathar. So, there's a lot of fun lore involving... See, that's one of the great things, too, about D&D, is that it's been around, over 40 years now. And, so many people have been involved, so many people have written stuff and created things, and so many things have been accepted by the fans and put into books that there's a lot of great lore and history and stories that people have made that really kind of you can work into your adventures. So, I'm going to show you the first Beholder that we did a few weeks ago for an adventure. Super happy with how it came out. WolfAngel did the red, and I did the rest of it, the eyes and the mouth.
I did the easy part.
You did the easy part, but it came out looking really good because that texture really just popped with the way that red went on there. So Xanathar, in the story, is all beholders are super paranoid, by the way. So I kind of relate. Xanathar, the original Xanathar was a beholder who ran a thieves guild.
You said it was syndicate.
Well, it was a crime syndicate, kind of a guild, but it was still a guild. Like, I think it was labeled a guild, but it was basically a crime syndicate. And he was in charge of it, and he was overthrown by another beholder who wanted his crime syndicate. And that beholder was originally called just the Eye and ran his own thieves guild. Well, he took over the crime syndicate, he killed the first beholder, and took over. And he looked very, very similar, but people knew it wasn't the same one. And so the very first one's name was Xanathar. When the Eye took over the crime syndicate, he took the Xanathar as a title and told everyone, no, Xanathar wasn't his name, it was a title. And everybody just kind of took it, because who was going to question literally a creature that could shoot death rays out of its eyes? And so the Xanathar. So he's actually a very old, very ancient beholder. But he's a legendary character in the D&D world. So I'm gonna paint him. Going to play some Pokemon Red. Thanks for the laughs. Oh, thanks, Chef, and happy to see you on, buddy. Enjoy your Pokemon Red. Xanathar is so much of a character that they literally created Xanathar's Guide to Everything. For the D&D universe. So Xanathar is blue with a pale goldish, like a pale yellow around his eye and his mouth. So, what is this? It's this cobalt hue. That one's not open. You've got an open one. That's got. So we're gonna start off by giving him his blue base coat. Definitely got to be a few coats of the blue. Wolf looks great. Can you take a pause and show the camera? No? Okay. Just leave everyone sitting in suspense as they see the wolf from far, far away. I like it.
Still working on it.
Hold him by his eye stalks very carefully so I don't break them, but to paint the body.
That's what I had to do when I painted the other one. I guess Orion finally got bored.
Yep, stopped licking feet.
I think he's asleep.
No, he's awake.
Alright, he's bored.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys are paying more attention to painting the things than paying attention to me.
Because he doesn't get any love at all. None whatsoever. We don't love on him. Don't care. At all.
Not like we go for walks every day or
You know, a couple times.
go to the park sometimes.
Buy special food for him.
He gets, well, I mean, he gets a medication because he has asthma. So he has an inhaler and he gets some allergy pills every day. So that means he gets a piece of cheese every day for him to get that pill. And he gets upset if you give it to him late.
Yes, he does.
He got so upset when I switched it from he gets it at night to he gets it in the morning. He was so very upset with me for that. But he did eventually get over it. It's like, I'm still getting my cheese. Still getting my dental treat. Alright. I suppose I can accept this.
Yeah, he's very cat-like sometimes with that, like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, you haven't seen him with his treat ball. Because when I moved, I accidentally left it.
Don't say it out loud, he'll hear you.
But he's gonna get it back soon.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, when he plays with that, he plays with it like a cat, like just batting at it with his paws. Oh, there goes my neighbor.
Do you, so what do you think of, I mean, I know you're in the middle of painting. What do you think of, Chesty?
From what, I mean, I've only seen the front of Chesty. I mean, Chesty looks good to me.
I'm gonna do a little bit of touch up on the base because some of the metallic got on the base, but I'll probably do that while Xanathar's drying on the first blue coat. And this camera makes this blue look way brighter than it is. It's actually a dark cobalt blue. It's just I've got multiple lights hitting our table right now, so the colors are a little skewed. For you guys.
I just have a feeling like if any of my past D&D party members ever get into watching any of the campaigns that I do. Like, if they got to see any of them, they would be like, I remember that. I know one of them would have a very hard time keeping their mouth shut.
I could see Medic being that way. That's just because he's a friend.
Yeah. Well, I've actually never DM'd a game for Medic. He's DM'd for a few games.
Talking about Smiling Medic, who's one of our fans here on the channel, who's often in the chat. A few of you are real-life fans for us. We're approachable, we promise.
We don't bite. And
Hard.
When we do, we've got our shots. We're up to date.
Yep.
Don't worry. Geekiness is infectious.
And if you're friends with us, you've probably already caught it. So, you know.
You're good. There was like one time that I had started my campaign with a couple of my party members, but then I never got to go past one session with them. And months went by, and then finally had the opportunity to DM again, but neither one of them were at the table.
Oh, so you couldn't pick up.
And so I had to start over. Well, they showed up later at the table. They were like half an hour to an hour late. So when they showed up, I had to look at both of them and I was like, don't say anything. And then they're like, what? Why? And then they process. They're like, oh. I was like, yeah. Uh-huh. That's why I said, don't say anything.
I haven't played an in-person game in years. I've been doing all virtual games since last year. Well, since 2020. I've been doing all virtual games.
It's like, yep, it's 2022 now.
Yeah, I had to legit think about that.
That's hard when, like, the years change to switch over.
Yeah. It sucks. I am happy to see that D&D is like making a comeback in popularity, whereas like my generation, your generation, if you liked D&D, you know, in the 90s, you were this nerd who got beat up, and now it's like, oh, D&D's cool, and it's cool to like be into like role-playing games and to be nerdy and geeky, and I'm so happy that like my daughters get to grow up in a generation where being geeky or nerdy is like cool and accepted, and you know it's okay now. You know, they don't have to worry about being ridiculed
For liking the things they like.
Yeah. And the thing is that I forget who said it. I wish I could properly give, you know, credit where credit's due. I forget who said it, but basically they said that all being nerdy is being passionate about something. And I know people who have still made fun of me a little bit. Well, people who know me and playfully do so, that they're like, "Oh, you play D&D, how ridiculous!" And then they turn around and play fantasy football. And I'm sorry, fantasy football is D&D for jocks. You're memorizing stats, you're creating your favorite teams, you're running theoretical plays, you're doing it with your friends in groups. There's a goal, something to win. Sounds an awful lot like Dungeons and Dragons.
Sports style.
Yes. Which, if a jock ever wanted to make tons of money, all he has to do is go to, like, Gen Con and be like, "Hey, guys, I've got this awesome homebrew campaign. Here's all you need to know," and then gives them stats for football players. Oh, he'd make a killing. And I know a guy who would make fun of me. He never saw it, and even after I pointed it out to him, refused to see it. He and his wife would sit there on the computer building their fantasy football teams, comparing stats and scores and week to week with their friends. And I was like, "You realize it's D&D for jocks, right?" They refused to admit it. They would not accept it, and I was like, "It is. It's totally D&D for jocks. It's okay." And it's okay that it's D&D for jocks. Just understand it is what it is.
Yeah.
And the truth is, you can disagree with my statement. But deep down, every time you play the game, you're going to think about what I said. You're going to ask yourself the important question, is it? Is it though? So what are we painting next week?
Next week?
Is it Pokemon?
No, Pokemon. Actually, it might be Pokemon.
I think Pokemon was next in the poll. Like, if you add up everything total.
Ow, hold on, no, I added everything up. Hold on, I gotta go get that notebook. Put it somewhere else. Alright, so, these were the official numbers.
Okay.
Just so everybody knows. The official numbers. For our poll, Dragons won out at 19. Monsters came in second with 7. Pokemon with 6. Spaceships and characters tied at 5, and animals at 4.
Is there a way we can tie in spaceships and characters and do those, like one of us does a spaceship, the other does a character maybe of that spaceship?
It depends on how big of a spaceship.
That's true. I mean, it doesn't have to be. That's the beauty of 3D printing. I can make it however big we want to make it for the stream.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be, this massive model. I wouldn't do it if it were a massive model on stream, honestly, just because it's so... The last one I did, I think I put 6 hours into it. When it was all said and done, maybe more. It was that Y-Wing that I did for my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
That was 16 inches nose to tail. It was huge. And to like go in and paint the detail of like the metal parts of the ship and like where pieces connected and all, like there was a lot to it. So we could print something that's 6 inches long and whatever would fit on the build plate of the printer, so that way it's not in multiple pieces.
Yeah.
And do that. It doesn't have to be a huge model.
Because that was the thing, was like on the Discord, we didn't have the spaceships, but we had opened it up on the GNN Greats Facebook page that if they wanted something else, that they could put that in, and somebody had listed the pop culture spaceships, and then that's where it got the votes.
Yeah, so we didn't even put that on there originally, and that was something you, the fans, wanted. So I guess it just kind of comes down to like what pop culture shit would we do, but we can figure that out. We got time to figure that out. We can ask people next week while we're doing the Pokemon stream, unless somebody has ideas now. But
we were gonna kind of leave like which thing we're actually doing on stream a secret.
That's
until
true.
the
That's
actual
true.
stream.
But I mean, get ideas from people is just what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, what are some fantasy ships that cross your mind? And if anybody is on and chatty, we're talking about doing Pokemon next week. Do we want to limit it to a specific generation and maybe have people pick their favorite, or?
I know we've already had a vote for Gengar.
Okay, so let's go Gen 1 then. What Gen 1 Pokemon would you like to see us paint on stream? So we've had a vote for Gengar, and we will still be the deciding factor of what we do. But totally open to what the fans want.
Yes.
And we can throw it into the Discord and everything as well.
Yeah. We'll put it up on Discord. We'll add it up on Facebook as well.
What are some of your favorite Gen 1 Pokemon?
I'm always partial to the fire dogs. So that would be Growlithe and Arcanine in the first gen. Later on you'd have Houndour and Houndoom. I was just kind of a fan of the dogs because literally you had Poochyena and Mightyena. They're not fire, but I loved them.
Yeah, they're dark type.
Yeah.
First gen, always a fan of the fire types. Big fan of the Eevee evolutions. Like, if Pokemon were real and I could choose, I would absolutely be an Eevee trainer. I would be either an Eevee trainer or fire type.
The aspect of Eevee being able to be different types is actually why I don't have it anymore. I want to get it back again. Is that I got into Let's Go Eevee instead of the Let's Go Pikachu, because Eevee you could teach every single type that its evolution, like if it evolved, but the one you get never evolves.
Right.
But with Pikachu it was just electric.
Yeah. I could see that.
That was why I liked the Let's Go Eevee over Let's Go Pikachu. Sorry, I know that was like a slight detour.
Yeah. And of course, I'm a big fan always of Mew and Mewtwo.
But yeah, we had also talked about for Pokemon that we were gonna do.
Do another Pokeball?
Yeah, do the Pokeball.
Yeah. So I have some really cool model files for different Pokeballs. And I have model files for all of the first gen Pokeballs. So Pokeball, Great Ball, Ultra Ball, and Master Ball. We did the Master Ball as a present for my sister, actually. We did a Master Ball, painted it. It's actually hinged to open and close.
And we'd also painted a Mewtwo to put
made
inside.
a Mewtwo and made a little stand to go inside of the Mewtwo. Yeah, so that's an option, but I also have like the other balls as well you can use. We could do a master ball with Mew, or we could do like an ultra ball with one of the legendary birds. Lots of options on that front.
So we'll figure out what we're gonna do for Pokemon next week.
Just a little bit. Needs to drink. Or do you want to take a break? We've got about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I suppose we can take a real quick break.
Stretch our legs, get something else to drink. We're gonna take a quick break, guys. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere.
And we are back.
And back. Stretching into the legs.
So, just kind of as a little bit of a recap, like again, or I guess I should say Retro, has been able to do a mimic, treasure chest mimic. It looks pretty good. He's currently working on the Xanathar. I'm working on finishing my dire wolf. So far, this is how he is.
I like it.
I just gotta do a couple little things, and then he should be done.
If you need to borrow any of my detail brushes or anything, let me know. I mean, I know you got the same set I do, but I've got a few that I haven't really touched. This is the part I'm nervous about. So he's blue, but he's got this like goldish pale color around his mouth and his eye, and I need to pull up a reference image on my phone.
Be like, you got the book?
Yeah. Well, I've got a really good picture of him that I want to use as my, just to see kind of.
So, I like how the yellow I need to use for the eyes for my dire wolf. It's yellow flame. But I legit need less than a drop, but I can only get a drop. Because I only need it for the eyes, and his eyes are super tiny.
The other thing you could do is unscrew the cap and then just dip into the lid.
Shh. You make too much sense, sir. Stop. You're making too much sense. Hush now. Go upside down. That might work a little better for me.
I'm trying to get the right shade. Like this color I'm using, Golden Sunset, is close, but there's almost a little orange to it. Let's see if I can mix that to the right color. We should put a poll up of the types of Gen 1, Pokemon types of Gen 1, and then we select out of that. Let people choose their favorite type.
Yeah, that could work.
So it's like, how do we get a poll, but there's 150, and people are just going to write in their own. So if we just put in, like, Gen 1 types.
Because then you have normal, fire, water, grass, electric,
Psychic, fighting,
ground, rock. I think that's it. No, ghost.
Yeah.
There's 10. Because
Yeah.
they didn't have fairy until later.
They didn't have steel, they didn't have
They
dark.
didn't have steel, they didn't have dark. So that's 10. 10 types.
10 options.
Yep.
And that narrows... It's going to narrow the field. Well, did you get ice in there? Yeah, you got ice in there.
Well, they didn't have ice.
Yeah, they did.
Not the first one.
Yeah, they did.
With Articuno?
Articuno, Dugong was ice type.
Well, originally...
Jinx was dual typed ice and psychic, originally.
No, because
Hang on.
the first gen didn't have mixed types.
Hang on. Yeah, it did.
No, it did.
Yes, it did.
It eventually added it, yes. But...
15 in Gen 1.
Okay.
Bug, dragon.
Oh yeah, I forgot Bug and
Electric,
Dragon.
fighting, fire, flying, ghost, grass, ground, ice, normal, poison, psychic, and rock and water.
Okay, so there was ice.
Yep, there were 15 total. So,
Yeah, we forgot Bug and Poison and...
yeah.
Sorry, Caterpie fans and Nidoran fans. Didn't mean to. Promise. I don't think if
There
you...
were only 3 dragon types, though.
Yeah, because you had Dratini,
Dragonair,
Dragonair, and
Dragonite, that's it.
Yeah.
Because even though he uses a Gyarados wasn't classified as dragon type until Gen 2.
Yeah. It was just water at the start.
Yeah. And I always felt like Charizard should have been dual type dragon.
He looked more like Dragon.
Yeah, he had the more Western look of it, like Western dragon look. Then you had Gyarados, it was very obviously Chinese dragon inspired. And you have...
And just for anybody who's watching that kind of tries to go, that's not how you say it. If you go to the Japanese translation, yes.
What?
Because the English is Gyarados, not Gyarados.
Yeah, it's Gyarados.
That's what I was saying. Like, you get some people that are like, it's Gyarados. Like, no.
Yeah. Depends on the translation you're listening to. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. You get that with a lot of things, though.
Oh, yeah. That's why it's... I wasn't trying to say you were saying it wrong. I was like, the Japanese, which is where it came out first, it was Gyarados.
Yeah.
But growing up, I always heard it as Gyarados. But I know that there's a difference.
Right.
So that's why I was like, I'm not saying you're wrong.
I'm just correcting you.
No, I'm just clarifying for anybody else that's like, no, it's Gyarados because they've never seen the Japanese version.
Yeah.
Because there are some weirdos like me that will go and watch things in the original language. As long as there's English subtitles. Because no matter how much I wish I could understand and speak other languages, I just have a very hard time with it. I mean, I always wanted to learn Japanese and German. Those were the top 2 that I always wanted to learn. And I tried, but then I just couldn't keep it fully straight in my head.
I like the Axis mentality there.
The what?
The Axis and Allies. The Allies were Britain, France, America, the Axis powers, Japan, Germany, Italy, Russia.
Sorry.
You communist.
Just, I've always liked animes and the Japanese culture, and then because I have German heritage,
I'm just giving you
I've
crap.
always wanted to be able to go there and see it too. And I'm one where, because I know that there's plenty of people.
Ha ha, Renefro. Ha ha ha. You know it. I'm actually doing Xanathar. The Xanathar.
And I believe I just finished my direwolf.
Well, show it on camera. Looks great. Beholders are fun. And they're fun to paint. They're a challenge, though, because you've got the tentacle or the eye stalks, and you've got the texture of the skin and the teeth.
Oh, alright, so now Renefro has to put his input in.
I haven't even been keeping track of the names.
So this is our dragon from last week. He's all nicely done. But
Lost up.
But he needs a name, so we're having everybody that comes in be able to...
Chime in on the name.
Yep. Looks very good. Looks like a Disney dragon. No, you can't find a name. You gotta think of one. There's a difference.
Mike will know the difference.
Let's see, we've had Steve and Dave.
Steve and Dave, yes.
Let's see. I'm just gonna scroll up. Because it was
yeah. Skorzak. Skorzak. Was one. Thraxel.
Yeah, Thraxel. Skorvac, Steve, and Dave. Those are the ones that we've been given so far. Gwythane. I don't know, Gwythane sounds more like the very first name that's gonna sound as if the dragon's female.
Because we associate with, like, Guinevere and Gwyneth.
Yeah.
I mean, we never did determine the sex of the dragon.
We've
Lift up its tail.
We've automatically kept calling it a boy, though.
Oh, hang on, it's a reptile. See if it lays an egg. Or do a blood test. Otherwise, you got no idea. No, it would actually be a male because that's 3.5. So if you're going off, pick up the dragon. If you're going off actual reptile anatomy, it would be a male because on the elbows of the back of the dragon are these hooks. And snakes, male snakes, and a lot of reptiles have hooks at somewhere on them, the males do, literally to latch onto the female for mating. And that's about as graphic as I'm going to get into for that. But the very fact that those are there says that is a male dragon.
Interesting fun act of the day.
Yes. That's how you can tell at a glance, because you can't do the traditional lift up the tail and look. Males and females would look identical in the reptile world initially.
Yeah, you can tell internally.
Internally, there's ways to tell. But males of every reptile species I can think of have hooks on their legs or in the back quarter of their body. Bearded dragons have them on the inside of the back of their thighs, because I've had bearded dragons before. Yeah. I've had a lot of reptiles. And it's one of the things you got to know is Part of reptile husbandry
Yeah,
is...
it's like, is this male or female? Because you don't want to put...
Do not want to mix them in the same cage.
Nope.
If you get it wrong. Like, I have two
that
leopard geckos that are two different morphs of leopard gecko, but they're both females, so I can have them in the same cage without them killing each other.
Yeah. Well, then there's some that if they're the same gender, you can't put them together.
Certain reptiles are like that, yeah. Because they'll become territorial. Or you can't put them in the same cage past a certain age.
Yeah.
Like, bearded dragons as juveniles are great in the same cage. You can have a dozen of them in the same cage, it won't matter. But the second they grow up,
Oof.
nope.
Didn't get to show this to Renephoros, so we...
Oh, yep, Renephoros. Mimic.
So Retro did the Mimic earlier. I'm kind of thinking the dire wolf is mine for tonight.
Think you're done for the night?
Yeah. Because I'm looking at the scorpion that I was going to do. Do Dragonborn have a cloaca?
I've somehow gotten us to a reptile anatomy. Dragonborn have a cloaca. I mean... Do centaurs have two diaphragms?
Do they have two hearts?
Do they have two sets of lungs? Because they have two diaphragms. Do they have multiple stomachs, or is it just one very long system of intestines from the mouth all the way to the back of the horse?
I guess from, like, whenever... Anything I've seen, like, movie-wise... Yeah, do Minotaurs have 4 stomachs? Like, anything with a movie that has a centaur in it, whenever they've, like, been running and then you see that they're, like, having to breathe heavily, it's always the human side,
yeah.
never the horse side.
Or is it like a redundant organ system? There are animals with redundancy in organs. Example, cows with 4 stomachs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, camels with 2 humps versus 1.
What the hell, dog? I wish I could just take the camera to show people what my dog is doing right now. But I think I'd probably make a mess if I did that.
Probably.
With all the paint.
Maybe that's a book that somebody should come out with in the D&D world, like a biology book of fantasy
like
creatures.
The anatomy and physiology of D&D creatures.
Well, and there's ways to work that into a story too. You know, imagine the details
I'm sorry, I'm just imagining, because I went to college for vet tech. And there's 2 of the textbooks, and I mean textbooks that we had to get. They were anatomy and physiology coloring books.
That's awesome.
So one was for the horse, the other one was split in half between dog and cat.
That amuses me greatly.
I think I still have the horse one.
That is awesome.
It was like, we just going like, the anatomy and physiology, and then I just remembered, like, oh yeah, for my anatomy and physiology class, some of our homework was literally coloring in our textbooks. I'm also seeing how Xanathar has the slits with his eyes.
Yeah.
Different colors, too.
Yep. Yeah, it's... So, like, this is the image I'm using for him, because it's kind of the clearest. So he's got, like, the orange center with the black line vertically through it.
And then I'm looking at the book, how they've got, like, green, red.
Probably to reflect the different, like, abilities that each eye has.
It looks like they alternate color between the slits. Because, there you go. If I open it the rest of the way, you can see almost all of them. You're like, stop it.
Yeah, stop. I'm trying to... Don't give me more to do with him than I already have to. You beast. I will say, from a streaming standpoint, it's almost easier doing this on stream.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, we don't have to have our faces on, so we don't have to, like, it's less, like, performing. You know, it's more like, hey, chill painting with Retro and WolfAngel.
Yeah. But then the problem I have is that I start focusing so much on the painting.
You stop talking.
Yeah. But I will have to do the scorpion at some point, but I can't do it tonight.
It's alright.
Eventually it will be done.
Oh, it'll need to be for your adventure at some point, I'm sure.
Yes. But it's not at, like, the direct beginning.
And realistically, I mean, the Mimic was tiny compared to the direwolf you were doing, and you were trying to saturate it with light. You were trying to saturate the base black direwolf with light colors, and that takes time and coats, and it takes a lot to get that, you know, the way you want it.
You don't fully see the star on his face unless you get the light just right. But I like him.
Oh, it looks good. I like it.
I need a not black marker so I can put his name on the bottom like all official minis.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be able to write his name properly with a paintbrush. I'm going to put those two there. And since I'm not going to paint anymore, maybe not. That way then, we can have our dragon in view, our new direwolf, and our new mimic.
Is there one of the names that's stood out to you as what the one you want to
I mean, I kind of like the
bless it with?
the Thraxel.
Yeah. Thraxel's good.
Now we have Thraxel, the dragon, this dragon, but we still gotta name the other one.
The other dragon.
This one.
Oh, yes.
Our microphone supervisor.
Yeah. Well, we could pick one of the other names for it. Was there another name you'd liked secondary? I say we go with Renephrose. One of Renephrose.
The Gwythane.
Gwythane, yeah. Why not? Has a very gentle, soft look to it. Gwythane sounds like it could be a librarian or a hall monitor name.
Alright, I gotta take a picture of what my dog is doing, and it will be posted in the GNN.
In our Discord?
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
Discord. Rude! I didn't get to take that picture! He does this every time!
Because you're talking about it out loud. He hears you. He senses it.
Even when he's asleep and I don't make a sound, my phone is on silent, and I'm just barely bringing it up to take a picture, he will open his eyes and move. It's like, dog, stop it! I still love you. Yes, I do. I still love you. Even though you ruined so many of the pictures.
Him's still a good boy.
Yes, he is. I wanted to get that picture of his ridiculousness. But he is my dog, so it's kind of okay.
Kind of expected.
A little bit. Just a little bit. He was looking good.
Thank you. Should probably get my hand up here on camera so you don't just... you have something to actually see if you're looking at the camera. If you're looking at the stream.
Mm.
Listening to this music really makes me want to play like Oblivion or Skyrim.
Yeah.
I've been thinking that like all stream.
Well, you'll be able to get your chance to play Skyrim later this year because it does have an anniversary coming up.
It's true. And I will absolutely take advantage of said.
I think if I remember correctly, there's Skyrim and then there's the Elder Scrolls Morrowind. That was
Morrowind would be like 20 year.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
I have Morrowind too.
I've only ever played Oblivion and I know of Skyrim, but
Morrowind is like if you've played Oblivion, you're either gonna love or hate Morrowind. Because the first true Morrowind is Elder Scrolls 3, right? So the first two Elder Scrolls games were PC only. And so Morrowind was bridging the gap of like how movement and play is between them. And some people love it, some people hate it. It's got really like people have mixed feelings, but the people who love it love it. But it's I think it's fun. I've never beaten it. I've never beaten it, but
I mean personally I've never beat Oblivion.
Really?
Yeah.
As much as you've played it and all the tricks and stuff you know to...
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, the first Xbox I had access to, the 360, to be able to play it, the only way to save it, versus how it is now with the Xbox One, of it's just in the cloud, it's attached to your gamer tag, it was attached to the hard drive, like the storage on the side. That first Xbox that I played it on wasn't mine. So when that person decided to take and get rid of that Xbox, I lost everything. So then the next time when I got my own Xbox 360 and then I was playing it, I would say pretty far in the game. But then I was going to school full-time and working, and gaming had to kind of take a back seat. And something corrupted my save file.
Ooh.
So then
That
I'd have to
sucks.
restart, and then by the time I was restarting it, I think like the 4th or 5th time was when I finally had an Xbox One, and I just haven't fully gotten into trying to play it to finish it.
I gotcha.
But every time I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna play it, I'd get like maybe halfway or so, and then something would happen to make me walk away from the game. And then I hate coming back to a game that I haven't played in a while. Like,
Yeah, because you don't remember like the details.
yeah, I don't remember the details. I don't remember what I was doing. I don't even remember the controls. But at that point, you're not being taught the controls. You better freaking remember them.
Right.
And so most of the time, I just restart the game because it's
And then you
been
never
so
actually
long.
get back to it, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I am with Assassin's Creed. I've gotten pretty far in a couple of the Assassin's Creeds, but I've never beaten one. Because something happens to make me stop playing it after a while. And then when I finally get to go back to it, I don't remember any of the controls. This is where I'm like, yes, I am a gamer. However, I have issues.
It's okay to have issues, Becky. Or WolfAngel. Sorry. I'll just use your real name at this point. I'm Devin. Didn't know me. Hi.
You keep forgetting to put it up in camera.
I do. Well, it's kind of an awkward position for like my hands to be up like this.
Well, maybe we can try to come up with something better for camera.
The best would be if we could come up with a good way to do a top-down.
Yeah. We'll try to get that figured out.
Yeah, we'll work on it. This is only our second one after all. Second stream like this after all. Doing that. And I'm getting pretty close to being finished with the Xanathar. So what name did we decide on for our dragons?
Our microphone supervisor is Gwythane, and our dragon from last week is Thraxel. And heck, I even wore my gamer shirt today. The gamers don't die, they respawn. Which this t-shirt actually came with a headset.
Nice. Can I get that on my headstone, please?
What, the gamers don't die, they respawn?
I just want, like, press X to respawn or something on my headstone.
I mean, there was one headstone that, like, I've seen a picture of online, not in person, where they were saying, like, well, Mom always said that people could get the cookie recipe over her dead body, and then they had her cookie recipe on the back of the tombstone.
That's awesome. That's expensive, but that's awesome.
I was like, wow. Because it had it right at the front of, like, you know, the name and the date. Like, you could put a little thing of, like, you know, in loving memory, or, like, loving father, loving mother. Like, you can put that little bit at the bottom. And they just said, like, she always said her cookie recipe people would get over her dead body, and then on the back there was the cookie recipe.
It's amazing.
What was some of the others that I've seen? I kind of feel bad for laughing at them, but you have to realize that whoever put it on
Clearly has a good sense of humor and intended for you to laugh at it.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, you feel bad for laughing, but you remember that fact. It's like, that makes it all okay.
Yes, I'm looking it up.
It's alright.
Alright, let's see. There was one that said, I told you I was sick.
Nice.
Here lies John Yeast, pardon me for not rising.
Here lies Lester Moore, 4 shots from a 44, no less, no more.
Let's see, died from not forwarding that text message to 10 people.
Nice.
He loved bacon. Oh, and his wife and kids too.
Love it.
We once were where you are. You will be where we are. Prepare.
Kind of threatening.
I was hoping for a pyramid.
Almost done with the Xanathar.
Oh, here you go. One way, do not enter.
And we're going to be rating a new streamer tonight. Brandy, who is a gamer, plays a lot of Dead by Daylight, new streamer, or just picked kind of somebody at random and decided that, you know, we're gonna send a raid over their way. Maybe make some friends. All right. What do you think?
He looks good. No, on camera.
All right. There is the Xanathar.
So we have the Xanathar. Got Chesty.
Mimic. Chesty Mimic. And
Ranga.
Ranga the Direwolf. Alright, guys, I want to thank everybody for being on our stream and for hanging out and watching us paint stuff, which is always fun. I'm going to change back to our faces.
Oh, and of course,
Thrax.
Thraxel.
And Thraxel. Change it back.
Here. There you go.
There we go.
Thraxel.
So I want to thank everybody for being on our stream, hanging out with us. We're going to be painting Pokemon next week. If you want to be a part of it, we're going to be throwing a poll up in our Discord. We're also going to throw a poll up in the GNN Greats Facebook page, where you can vote on the type, the Gen 1 type Pokemon. And out of that list, we will pick something. We will 3D print it on our 3D printers, and we will paint them on stream. And we'll go from there. So thanks, guys. I'm going to send a raid over to Brandy, who's another gamer, plays some Dead by Daylight and lots of other stuff. I don't know much about her, but hey, she's online, so let's go pay some love to another streamer.
And while he gets that together, you can go ahead. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that follow button. And if you also haven't, and you can, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That helps us out, and you can... If you're an Amazon Prime member, you can actually subscribe to one Twitch channel for free each month. So if you're liking any of what you're seeing of our channel, go ahead and do that. And go ahead and follow us everywhere else. So have a good night, everyone.
See you guys.